Hello everyone. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fine and welcome to the seventh section of our LLMOPS series. Basically, we are running this series. We have till now we have uploaded many videos. Like you can see, we have done basically 6 videos, and there is additional 7 video for you for guardrails from LLM application. And today we are going to do the next video, which will be going to be about Jenkins. Basically, we are going to understand that what is Jenkins, and then going to integrate in our flow. Okay. So let's get started and let's go to the session agenda. Okay. So yeah. So what is the session today's session agenda? There is 5 things that we are going to do. Firstly, we are going to understand that what is Jenkins, and the second is why we want to use Jenkins. We have already have used GitHub Actions, but why would you ever use Jenkins and what it will be used for? So we will understand that. And the third thing is like understand common Jenkins terminologies. Everything has their terminologies, so we are going to understand that, so you get a clear understanding that how Jenkins work and what it is and how we are going to implement that. And then the fourth is like we are going to set up Jenkins, and we are going to use a Docker container for that. We are going to install Jenkins in a Docker container and going to use the Docker container for running Jenkins. We are following this practice because it is an industry practice, and we are going to, in the next stage, we are going to deploy this Docker container with Jenkins into Azure or AWS. So we are going to do that in the next sessions. Okay. And the fifth thing is like we are going to create a Jenkins pipeline, a basic, very simple Jenkins pipeline, which will be in which we will be able to run test present in our project on every commit we do on our GitHub repository. Okay. So that is the thing we are going to need target. So what is pipeline and all, I am going to tell you. What is Jenkins, I am going to tell you. So I hope you are excited to learn what is Jenkins, and let's get started. First, let me tell you that what is Jenkins. So Jenkins is an open source tool that helps automate building, testing, and deploying. Right, that automates building. Right, it automates building, testing, deploying. Okay, your software. So you don't have to do it manually. So Jenkins has the power of saving your time, increasing your productivity, and doing automated things that you do again and again. So that is why learning Jenkins is very important, and why Jenkins is so powerful, because it is open source. It's a open source tools, and there are many other advantages of Jenkins which we will see in our in further session. So this is what Jenkins is. This is just a basic definition. You will understand more about Jenkins further in the session. So here, let's go and let's understand more, right? So now let's see that why to use Jenkins and what are its advantages. Okay, so Jenkins is basically, the advantages are, there are 4 major advantages. The first is it's open source and free. We have GitHub Actions and other players for the CI/CD automation, but they are not that much open source as Jenkins. So Jenkins is completely open source, it's free, and it's like fully customizable with the help of plugins. So the second advantage is it has a huge plugin ecosystem. So with the help of plugins, you can do anything, like you can customize it at the fullest level. So that's why the plugin ecosystem is very good there, and it basically fulfills the every custom demands of a developer. So that's why the plugins is a huge advantage. And the third is like pipeline as a code. So we have seen that in our GitHub Actions, we are creating pipelines, like we are creating the deployment CI flows, workflows, like in a YAML file. But in a YAML file, you cannot write this complex pipeline codes, like complex workflow codes. But in this Jenkins, we have pipeline as a code. Like you will write a separate code file, which is pretty complex. Like it has a very groovy code, and using which you can create very complex pipelines also. And in GitHub Action ecosystems, hooks, like they give predefined commands, but if you want to do anything else, it's that not that much easy. So that's why pipeline as a code is a huge advantage here in Jenkins. And the fourth is it's highly scalable, and it supports multi-platform, like you can support here Windows and their Linux and their any other platform also. So that is the fourth major advantage of using Jenkins. So this is why we use Jenkins basically. What is Jenkins, you know now, and now you also know that why to use Jenkins and what are its advantages. So let me tell you in a brief that what are some common terminologies we are going to use in Jenkins. So the for that I have created a list here. So the common terminologies you need to know before using Jenkins in your projects are like the first is CI, the second is CD. So these two things, the CI and CD, I already covered, like what the explanation of what is CI and what is CD, I already covered in this series, like in the LLM Ops 6, like the 7th video. You will find a clear explanation and a detailed in-depth explanation of what is CI and what is CD and why it is important. So I'm not going to go in that much depth here, but I'm going to tell just an overview that what is CI. CI stands for continuous integration, and it is used to continuously integrate your code, like your implementation, with the other branches, and continuously testing, right? That the integration is doing successfully well, or is it not, is it creating some hindrance in the previous implemented feature. So that is a job of CI, and it is very good approach if you are working in a team. So that is what is CI from the overview. And the second is CD. CD stands for continuous deployment. So it is basically a automated workflow, you can say, in which we are continuously deploying to the server, continuously. Like whenever we, for example, you have a code in your GitHub repository in the main branch, and whenever you push anything inside the main branch, this CD, this continuous deployment workflow will run and deploy this latest commit inside your desired server. So this is CD. So Jenkins is here to do this two things, the CI CD for you. And the third thing is jobs. So what are jobs? So jobs, Jenkins jobs is basically a automated process that Jenkins run. So anything that Jenkins run inside its ecosystem, it will be called a job. So what it can be like building code, like testing software, like deploying applications. So all the things which you do in your continuous integration, continuous deployment workflows, or DevOps workflows. So all that things done in a Jenkins will be called as a Jenkins jobs. Okay. So I hope it's clear. So what can Jenkins jobs can be? It can be like pull source code from GitHub or GitLab. Like it can build or compile your code. It can be like pushing your image to the Docker hub, building your images of Docker. Like okay, like running running tests, like and like deploying the application to the server, like CDE workflow. And the third is like sending notifications to Slack or email, and many more. So basically anything you can automate, anything you can do in your DevOps, like anything you automate in your DevOps flow can be done and wrapped inside a Jenkins job. So that is what a Jenkins job stands for. So there are basically two types of job. The first is freestyle and the second is pipeline. So what is a freestyle project? Freestyle is a project which is entirely created with the help of the graphical user interface provided by the Jenkins itself. Okay, so it is generally is a very simple project. It cannot be complex because Jenkins GUI is not able to give you that much control over your project in this freestyle project. And the second is like a pipeline project. So what are pipeline projects? The projects which are created with the help of code. So where will be this code is going to be written? It will be going to be written in a Jenkins file. Okay, in a Jenkins file. Jenkins file. So we will get to see in the further in the session that how we are going to write this Jenkins files to create this pipeline projects. And this is the industry standard. Like most of the time you are going to use pipeline projects because because your workflows are going to be complex if you are working in industry most of the time. So we you are going to need this pipeline projects. And luckily in this session we are going to implement a pipeline project for running tests in our project. Okay. So I hope you got the point that what is jobs in Jenkins and what is like freestyle and what is pipeline. So this is also done, and now let's move ahead to like what are agents, nodes, and controller. We can say like the basic computational resource or the hardware resource in which Jenkins run their computational processes is called a node. So basically, a agent is also a node and a controller is also a node. These both are nodes. Okay, so I can say that this is node and the agent is also node. Okay, and a controller is also a node. So what is the difference between an agent and a controller? When will a node will call agent, and when will a node will call the controller? So for that, let me explain you that with the help of an example here. So you can see this is a master slave like a structure. Like there is one master which is going to give some orchestration like task to this slave. Like we can say that this is the manager here, and these are all the employees. Which this manager will given a task, and this employee will be get this task details from this manager to complete this one task which is given to the manager. Okay, so controller is for orchestration, and the agents are the one which performs actual computation, and at the core level these all are nodes. Okay, so I hope you get that what is agents and what is controller and what are nodes in Jenkins. So now you are familiar with the all the common Jenkins terminology, and now you are ready to set up Jenkins using Docker in your computer. So let's do that, and let's move on to the fourth agenda of our session, which is setting up of Jenkins using Docker. Okay, so let's go back to our IDE and let's see what we need to do. So our first task is to create some files. So the first file I'm going to create, it will be called like it will be called docker compose.jenkins.yaml. So we are creating a docker compose file for creating a Jenkins container. So it will be used to create our Jenkins container inside a Docker. And one more file I want to create, which is called dockerfile.jenkins. So this is a Docker file which contains all the information of our Jenkins container which we are going to use in Docker. So this will be a guide to create a container for our Jenkins. So in this Docker file.jenkins, you can see we are using this native Docker image which is called Jenkins. Yeah. Which is called Jenkins LTS, and we are using the user root, and then we are going to install Python 3 and its dependencies. We are going to install the Azure CLI also here, because in the further sessions we are going to use Azure to deploy our application and run Jenkins in it also. So we need this Azure CLI command. Azure CLI is nothing but this is a command line interface for doing operations in Azure. The other is like Docker CLI, obviously we will need, and the other is we are creating a symbolic link. So whenever we are writing Python in a Docker environment, it will be automatically converted into Python 3. So this is what it means, and we are creating a symbolic link there. And the other is like we are going to install some plugins. Okay. So what are plugins? I am going to tell you when we are inside this Docker user interface. So for now, we are telling that okay, by default install this plugins like Git workflow aggregator, unit, JUnit, and GitHub branch source. So I want this 4 native plugins inside my uh, Jenkins Docker container. And the other command we are running is like we are running to show that all the directories are present. Okay, and show them. Configure Git to allow all directories. Like we are configuring the Git to allow all directories, and it can access to all the directories present inside the Docker. And the other is like we are switching back to the Jenkins user. So here we are switched to the user root, and then we switch back to the Jenkins user. So this is done. And what we are doing in this Docker compose or Jenkins or YAML, we are just like instead of writing again and again like docker build something again and again, we have created a single command file, you can say that. And if we gonna write this command here, when we are running this docker compose command, it will use this file to create a Docker container. So what we are doing here, let's understand. So we are defining this docker compose version like 3.8, and then we are defining a service, and inside this service we are giving this service a name of Jenkins. And in this we are giving this build like the context, like the we are going the doing the configuration here, that what image you are going to build. So we are saying that okay, for the build context, use this current library, and you are going to use the Docker file with the name of dockerfile.jenkins. So this file will be used to create the Docker image, so which will be ultimately be used to run the container inside the Docker. And the other is like we are specifying here the platform is Linux or AMD. I am currently in Apple Silicon, so that's why I'm writing this here. If you are on Windows, you have to overwrite it. And the other is like we are defining here that the container name will be Jenkins local. So we are defining privilege is true here, and then we are defining the user as root, and then we are here, doing the port mapping here. So what we are saying that okay, inside the Docker container run Jenkins at 8080, and export it inside the host machine, like expose it inside the host machine at the port of 8083. Okay, so that is what is written here. And 5000 is to 5000 is like for the internal use of Jenkins, like for the agent external agents communication. We are saying that okay, use 50,000 port here, sorry, not 5000. And here is some volume configuration for configuration of Docker sockets, and also persistence Jenkins data even if the container restarts. Okay, so for that we are doing here, and then we are declaring a volume here with the name of Jenkins home, which is same as that. So this is what will happen if we run this command. So in the nutshell, it is going to use this docker file.jenkins to create a to build this build a Docker image from this file, and then run a container at the port 8083 in which we will get Jenkins. So let's run it. Okay, so for that, so here I already have this container Jenkins local in my Docker daemon. As you can see here inside my Docker, you can see I already have this Jenkins local, but for you I will delete it. Okay, and let's run it again. So I have deleted the image also, so now it will not start automatically, and it will create it. So let's go ahead, and you can see it is now building the image, and it is using this network also, it is creating. And now it is just creating this Jenkins local container which we have specified in this docker compose.jenkins file. Okay, so we have this Jenkins local container, and it is started also. So you can see inside my Docker dashboard. So here's my Docker dashboard, and you can see inside container our LLM in our LLMOPS series. We can see there is Jenkins local container running, and these ports are exposed already. So if we now see inside our browser, if we go inside our browser and we run localhost 8083, so we should see Jenkins here. So this is the kind of UI you will get when you open the endpoint of the Docker container, okay, in which the Jenkins is running. So it is requiring a administrator password, and it is saying that you can get it from this path. So let me tell you that how to get it. So what you have to do, you have to run this command in your project directly. Like so, what I will do, I will just open the IDE here, and then I will run this command. Okay, so what is it saying? Okay, Docker, please execute this command. Please execute this cat and this command inside my Jenkins local running container. So we are saying that here. So when I press enter, it is giving me this password. So it is my password. So I am just to paste it here, and okay. So now the processing is done, and it is saying okay, install suggested plugins. So I will say that okay, please install them, and it will install all the suggested plugins, which is by default suggested by the Jenkins itself. So plugins is basically extending the Jenkins native functionality. So for example, if you want Git support, so you will install this Git plugin. If you want the pipeline support, like if you want to run the code with pipeline, code using pipeline, okay, so you will install this pipeline plugin. So for example, you want to do some Docker stuff inside Jenkins, so you have to install this Jenkins plugin, Docker plugin, I'm sorry. So that's why plugins are very powerful, but it's a kind of a double-edged sword, because plugins can be unstable also. So you have to see and trust the publisher of the plugin, and continuously verify that if some plugins are giving some issues on the updates or not. So that's why you have to be a bit careful by while installing plugins, but these are the native plugins which are suggested by the Jenkins itself. So there are less chances of being some conflicts here. Okay, so now let's skip it. I'm not going to create an admin user for now. I'm just going to skip and continue as admin, and it is saying okay, instance configuration Jenkins URL. So I want yes, and I will save and continue, and I will start using Jenkins. Okay, so congratulations. You guys have successfully run Jenkins inside a Docker container at a local environment, and the Jenkins is up and running. Okay, so our fourth agenda is completed, like setting up Jenkins using Docker, and our Jenkins is running inside a Docker container at our local environment. Now, what is the next thing? We have to create a Jenkins pipeline to run test on every commit for our project. Okay, so for that, what we need to do, we need to firstly go to this new item, and then we have to select the item name. So for now, I'm selecting is LLMOPS test. Okay, test test, and this is going to be my item name. And then I am saying that okay, please create me a pipeline, and then I'm going to say okay. So our pipeline item is created, and now we have to do some configuration stuff like general, triggers, pipeline, and advanced. So let's go. So this is a description. It's like giving a small description for yourself that what it is for. So I am just leaving it empty for now, and then I have to you have to give the source of here. So I am saying okay, I want to give a source as GitHub project, and then I'm going to give the project URL. So let me quickly give the project URL from here, and here is the project URL, and I'm going to give it to here. Okay, and then there is triggers. So triggers will be automatically get set by the pipeline code itself, which I will tell you in a bit. So what is triggers? Basically triggers are the way of telling Jenkins, okay, look for this particular events, and when these events occur, please run this particular item, which in this case is a pipeline. Okay, so triggers are basically that. So there are basically many types of triggers, like triggers builds remotely, like from a script, or there is poll SCM. What is this poll SCM? Basically you can say Jenkins, okay, please check this GitHub, please check this GitHub repository at a particular schedule, like for example every minute, or every 5 minutes, or every hour, or every day, you can say that. And the Jenkins will go to the GitHub server. It will check that if there is any new commit inside the provided GitHub repository, and if there is then the Jenkins pipeline will run, and it will trigger. Okay, so this is poll SCM. Then what is this GitHub hook triggers for Git SCM polling means? There is something called GitHub webhooks, which we will see in the next video that what it's called. So it's basically like GitHub is sending a notification to Jenkins that okay, a new commit is performed at this sorry a new commit is done at this particular repository, so please run this build pipeline. So that is the case here. So for now we are using poll SCM, but it will be configured in the pipeline code, which I will show you in a bit. Okay, so I will just going to leave it empty here, and then we are going to define the pipeline. So there are two ways to define a pipeline, like pipeline script for you have to create the complete script here. Okay, and the second way is like get the pipeline script from the source, like pipeline script from the SCM. So what we are saying, okay, get the pipeline script from my Git, and the repository URL is this. So we already have our pipeline script inside this. Uh, Means we have to create that. We don't have the pipeline script yet, but we will create that. Okay, so this is that, and then we have to specify the branch and all here. Okay, so let me explain you that, and then we'll create that. So our repository URL will be going to be this. Okay, this and credentials. If you have any paid if you have any private repository, then you have to add the GitHub badge token here. And if you don't have, if you have a public repository, just leave it none. And there is branch to build, like which branch are required to be built. So you can build multiple branch here, but for now I am saying that okay, please build me this main branch. So I'm saying please build me this main branch only. Okay, and then repository browser keep it to auto, and then I'm saying script path. Okay, where the script is located, which script, the pipeline script in which the pipeline code is present. Okay, of the Jenkins. So I'm saying okay, not on the Jenkins file. I will create a Jenkins file.test. Okay, because Jenkins files will be created for Azure deployment in the next video. So this is I'm saying that okay, what I'm saying here, that pipeline code you will get from my SCM. The SCM is like my GitHub, whose URL is this, and you will not need a credential for that because it's a public library. And then which branches you need to build, you need to just build this main branch, and where you will find that what code you need to run for the pipeline, you will find inside the Jenkins file.test named file inside my GitHub repository. So this is the simple thing I'm saying here. Okay, and then I'm going to just say okay, save here. And then for if I build it, if I build now, like if I run this manually from here, then nothing will happen, as you can see. Then as you can see, here is a list, new list appear of today at this particular time, and you can see that it's failed. Why it's failed? What it's saying in the console output, like, unable to find Jenkins file dot test from Git. So it is saying that you don't have any Jenkins pipeline code file inside this source you have given. So that is correct. We have not created anything now for now. So let's create that. Okay. So let's go to my code ID again, and let's create a new file uh, whose name will be Jenkins file.test here. And this file will be like here is the code. So let me explain you this code. So let me clear some things here. Is beside it, and is beside it. Yeah. So this is the pipeline code you will write to create a kind of workflow in your Jenkins. So how it works and what are the things here. So here you can see we are defining that okay, it's a pipeline, and then we are saying that agent. So please, agents are node basically which do the real work, which do the real computation following the guidelines given to you by the controller or the manager. Okay, manager node. So we are saying okay, use agent any, like you can use Linux here, Windows here, anything, or Docker also, or Kubernetes also. So that we are saying, and then environment, we are basically setting up the environment here. Okay, the Python version you have to use is this. The Python path is, you can find it in this. So this Python path will be according to your project. Okay, so we have our Python inside this. We have a complete project inside this multi-doc chat. So that's why I've done that. And there we are setting the all APIs keys here, and the env.grok API key. This is what it means that the Jenkins has its own credential manager, which we will see in the next video. So from there it is fetching that this API keys. Okay, and here we are setting the environment variable, and then here is triggers. So in triggers we are saying okay, use poll SCM. Poll SCM is like when we are doing the configuration of our pipeline, we have seen that okay, this is, we are saying that okay, please use this trigger poll SCM, and then we are giving the schedule inside our code. You can see when we take the poll SCM, we can see the schedule. So similarly, we are giving the schedule inside the pipeline itself. So it is saying star 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 star. So what it means? So this star 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 multiple stars is like a cron operation. It is majorly used to define the schedule of running your uh, pipeline code triggers. Okay, that it is telling that in which interval the Jenkins should check for the trigger updates, like you can say that. So let me explain you what is a cron operation. So cron operation, you can see there are multiple positions star. So I have find out some resources here. Yeah, so this is a table which you can easily see. So what we have written there, here what we have written poll SCM star 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 star, right? Yeah, here we have written that. So this first star, this first position star means minute. So you can specify 0 to 59 here. So if there is only star present there, so it means every minute. But for example, there is h/5 present here, then it means every 5 minutes. Okay, For example, if h/15 written here, then it means every 15 minutes. So that is the case. And there is similarly in the second field, in the second position, it means hours. So you can specify 0 to 23. Similarly, in the third position, it means day of month. In the fourth position, it means months. Okay, and in the fifth position, it means days of week. You must getting the understanding that okay, you can even write the code like okay, please run this trigger on 12 p.m. at every Sunday. Okay, so this level of detail you can do, and you can say that okay, run it every 2 minutes. So this level of scheduling you can do with the help of this cron operation. If you are a DevOps guy, or if you are doing LLMOPS application and CI/CD is your main thing to do, you should know this cron operations, and you must understand it very well. Okay, so here is the thing. So let's go back to our pipeline, and our triggers are set now. We are saying that okay, at every minute, not every 2 minutes, at every minute, please go to the GitHub, check for if there is any new commit has happened inside the main branch, and if there is, then please run this pipeline. So then the stages, this is stages says that okay, now these stages you have to perform the actual computation. So first stage name is like we defined that in here, the name will be defined, and here the steps will be defined, and one stage can help multiple steps. Okay, so in this checkout step, what we are doing, we are just echoing that okay, checking out the code from repository, and then we are checking out the SCM from SCM. SCM means the GitHub repository we have given. Then the second stage is setting up Python environment. We are setting up the Python environment, and we are using UV here, like UV here to set up the Python environment, and some Azure file configuration is also done, and installing UV. We are installing UV also here. Okay, and then there is this install dependencies. So let me uh, collapse them for easy understanding. So stages inside stages, we have first stage which is checkout, which is done, setting up Python environment, which is done. Now what we do, we set up the Python environment, then we install the dependencies. So again we are installing the project dependencies. Again we are using UV for installing our dependencies. Okay, and we are installing this Python, and then Pytest, and then Pytest COV, and then we are moving on to the next stage. The next stage is run test. So we are saying that okay, we are going to run all the pytests which are present, means this folder. So we are saying okay, make this directory test result inside this, and please run all the tests present, and then just some configuration of the pytest library, and then we are echoing some things according to the operation performed. And then this post means after the successfully run or the failed run of the stages, this post section will run, and if the pipeline is successful, then this code will run. If it is failed, then this code will run, and if and whatever happens, this code will always run. So this is the thing. So this is a simple pipeline which we have created, and which will basically what it will do, it will just check out the code from the GitHub repository, and it will set up the Python environment inside the Jenkins Docker container, and then it will install the dependencies, and then it will going to run the test. So this is the basic thing which we have to always do, that we have to run the test again and again after every pushing or pull request merge, after every merge of the two branch, that we have to ensure that okay, our app is running fine, our previous functionalities are running fine. So this is kind of continuous integration we are doing here. So this pipeline is basically doing the same. Now what we have to do, we have to run this pipeline. Okay, so we have already configured our Jenkins. Okay, we have already said that okay, please, this is our repository, and this is the main branch you have to see, and this is a file you have to look for, and you have to just save here. And now what it will do, we have to just push a new commit, and we have to check that whether the Jenkins will get that commit and run the pipeline on its own. So in our GitHub repository, you can see our current commit is like inside the main branch. You can see we have this 3 weeks ago. We have no new commits here. So let's go here and let's make a new commit. So this is the changes we have done, right? So let's do, and this is the previous guide changes which I have done. So I am going to add a new commit, which is adding local Jenkins with Docker. Okay, so let's commit and sync, and it is giving me some error. So let me resolve it. So I have undo the commit, and then this file basically contains a secret, so that's why my GitHub is giving me error, that secret pushing is not allowed. So that's why I have unstaged it basically, and then I'm going to do the commit and sync again, and this time it will be done most probably. So it is done now, and as you can see, our adding local Jenkins is done with these files. And inside our GitHub, we can also see that inside our main, we have this docker file .jenkins. So accordingly, our Jenkins should have started to process that. So as you can see, it will take some time. So as the current configuration does not have the SCM and all like trigger set, so we have to manually build the code first time, and then after building it, our Jenkins file will be set according to the configuration, and from that it will run. So we have to build it manually one time, so it will build. So I have built it manually, and in the console output you can see, and in the pipeline overview you can easily see what is happening. Okay, so yeah, so you can see we are checking out the SCM. This is basically all the steps which we have done, and then we are setting up the Python here. We are installing what we are installing here. We are installing UV. So as you guys can see, the pipeline is completely run, and it is saying some exclamation like yellow theme styling warning like your tests are failing. So what tests are failing, you can see clearly. We can see that okay, one test is failed and 11 are passed. So that is a pretty decent thing, and inside this log you can easily see what is the problem, and we can fix that inside our code. So that is the purpose, that okay, we have to see that what is the errors we are coming inside the new code we have done, and then we have to resolve that. So our thing is done. So now what we have to test, we have to test that okay, if the trigger is working or not. So now as we have run the build once, the Jenkins file should be synced with the pipeline in the UI. So in the configuration you should see, like you should see that okay, poll SCM is ticked now, and we have the schedule star 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 5 times star. So it is what is saying, you are did you really means every minute. So what, why it is saying warning, because if you are in a production environment you can't afford to run Jenkins this much hard, because it will take so much compute resource. You only want that okay, please check in every 30 minutes or every one day, so that you can do. But for the case of testing and telling you, we have put this value 5 times stars. Okay, so this is saved already, I have to not saved it. And let's test it once more, and let's test by making a new commit inside our GitHub repository. So what I will do, I will just create a new file, testing Jenkins trigger, testing Jenkins trigger uh, dot txt, and then I am saying here I am testing Jenkins, okay, trigger, and then I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to stage it, and then I'm going to push it. So if I made a push, it's asking me for a commit message obviously. So testing Jenkins trigger, okay, so this is done, and I'm going to okay, let's go. So our commit and sync is done, and in the GitHub repository you can see we have a new commit inside this main, like testing Jenkins triggers. Sorry for the wrong spelling of Jenkins and testing. And then now let us wait that if the trigger is working fine or not. So as you can see, the trigger is worked automatically, and we are seeing that okay, the pipeline is running. So you can easily see that started by an SCM change. I have not built it manually. If I build it manually, it will show it like that, like the second numbered run is built manually. So whenever you go inside this console log, you have see that started by user admin, means started by me manually. But inside this third run, you can easily see that inside the console log you can see it is started by SCM change. Okay, and our somewhere our git checkout commit message is also there, like this testing Jenkins trigger with the wrong testing spelling. So as you can see, our code is running fine. Our Jenkins pipeline is triggering at the commit of our GitHub repository. So this was our goal. So again, let's go and see what is remaining now. So all the things are done. You have understand what is Jenkins. You know now that what are the advantages of Jenkins. Then you know now what is the common terminology of Jenkins. That, and then how to set up the set up the Jenkins using a Docker, and then how to set up a simple pipeline to run test on every commit. Like how to configure Jenkins to look for a commit change inside a GitHub repository. So that we have also done, and all the commands and all you will find inside the GitHub itself. So for example, you want to see any command which I have used, so you have to just go inside inside my GitHub, and just go inside this guide folder, and inside the Jenkins local guide, you can see all the commands. Like for now just follow till the uh, yeah, till the option A here. Okay, this option A thing is done, like creating Jenkins jobs. Till that you can you are fine. Like here all the commands are present, like the docker compose command we have done. Docker logs you can also check, then where it will be available, so you can follow this and you can also deploy that. So all the resources are also provided inside our GitHub repository. So this is it, And if you have any previous also doubts, like or the previous things you want to know, like what is CI/CD, and we have also done the complete CI/CD deployment with AWS ECS and Fargate of the project. And you have to know anything else, like how I build this RAG project, complete RAG project, how I build fast APIs, how I build the complete UI, and written all the tests, and then unit and integration testing. All the things are completely present inside this playlist. And this video will also gonna add in this playlist. So, and also guardrails for LLM application, which is also a very important concept to know if you are a LLM ops developer. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. You get to know something new, and you will implement all the new knowledge you got into your work. And stay happy. Have a nice day. Bye bye.